Hey guys, I'm Shannon with AMRA, American Mining Rights Association, and we got a really interesting video that we're gonna shoot for you. We'll tell you about it in just a second. You're gonna really like this one. So guys, I'm here with my good buddy Scotty Ray from SoCal. You may recognize this guy because he's got a booth at all the gold shows, and over the years we've made really good friends with him. And we're here at my little house in the South Motherlode. We're not too far from Yosemite, and I was telling Scotty this little story about when I was dredging up here, and I was running one of those spiral wheels, you know, the Camels, Desert Fox, or whatever it was, and I was bringing all my dredge concentrates back to the little house, and we set it up right below where the camera is here and running that. And I did that for a couple of years, ran these concentrates, and I never ever panned out the discards, you know, what was actually discharged in the tub. I just dumped them on the rose bushes until, I don't know, after about 2 years of doing that, I was over at the shop one day running that camel wheel again, and I went to dump out that material, and I noticed that there was about a 5 gram picker sitting in that stuff I was dumping out. So we panned that out, and there was all kinds of pickers and gold in that. And so what we found is that that particular wheel, either we had it set up wrong or it just wasn't working right. I had been dumping out gold for a couple of years. So anyway, I know when I did it here at the house where I was dumping it, it was on this little rose bush just to the right of Scotty. So this is going to be a pretty cool video. I know that there's a lot of gold because I ran my metal detector across that. So tomorrow, what we're going to do is we're going to dig up the rose bushes in my backyard. We're going to take that material in the Carson over to the shop. We're going to set up the highbanker. We're going to run that material, and we're going to show you what we get. So this is going to be one of those freaky, weird videos, but you know what? I think you're going to really enjoy it. So it'll be fun.
Yep. Might do it tonight.
So don't tell my wife I'm digging up the rose bushes. Honey, I'll get you new ones. We'll get you better ones. These are kind of old anyway. So we'll get to it in the morning. So guys, let me tell you what's going on here. Scotty pulled out this old military metal detector, and here's the fire pit, literally, right there. And my house is right here, and these are the rose bushes. Obviously you could see the rose there, and so he fired this thing up. We dug one hole, and of course we didn't have the camera running, but hopefully you can see that there. That's the first of many, I think. But anyway, it just goes to show you really need to make sure your equipment's running right. And like I say, I don't really use that spiral wheel much anymore, just because of this. And I don't know if I'm running it wrong or whatnot, so we just put it in the storage at the shop. But anyway, we're gonna keep digging here. We're gonna dig all this stuff up, load all the buckets. We've got the Carson, the trailer here, with about 20 buckets, and so we're just going to basically excavate this, take it all over to the shop, and then we'll run that highbanker. So anyway, we're going to poke around with the metal detector, see if we can't find a couple more of these. So we'll see. He's already getting a hit. I think it's because I'm touching.
Yeah, you have way too close to it.
So his metal detector's discriminating, but let's show you here. Right there.
Yep. Holy moly.
It's a big flat piece. So we'll add that to the other one that we've already found and keep metal detecting. But now you know why we want to rip this up and take it over to the shop and then high bank it. So let me show you what we got.
Doing good.
That's like Jim Hamilton and Chris down in Arizona. That's all they do is they watch us guys do all the work and they do nothing. I think Scotty's been hanging around with Jim too long.
Yeah, he told me just hold the bucket. Okay, need a fresh one.
So we think dumping this stuff out, there was a lot of black sand obviously from that spiral wheel, but we kind of think that maybe it's only down in the top 8 inches. I kind of built that material up, so we're kind of keeping an eye on it here. But anyway, we've already filled up probably 20 buckets and we're just dumping them in the trailer. But you can see that there's little river rock in here. So I know that this stuff came from Bull Creek when I was dredging in there. So at least we know we're on the right track. Probably got maybe 1.5 yards of material that we've pulled out of here, so let's head over to the shop and let's run this stuff. So we just got back to the shop. We just grabbed a highbanker and you see the pond in the background. So Scotty and I are going to set up the pump over here, and all we're going to do is just shovel this material into the highbanker and we'll show you what we get. We'll see how the rose bushes pay off. You know, one of the things that we see an awful lot, you see it on Facebook and stuff, people talk about how to run your highbanker and your sluice box, and they talk about 1 inch per foot and all this other crap. Guys, that doesn't mean anything, and I guess it's kind of a general rule of thumb, but it really doesn't mean anything. What it really boils down to is the type of material that you're running. So if you take rocks like this that are real flat and jagged, this is actually a piece of bedrock that we dug out here, then you need to run this actually quite a bit steeper, otherwise it won't tumble out of the box. So throw all that 1 inch crap out the window, set your sluice box up almost flat, so if you look at it, it's pretty much level, and then start running a little bit of material through there. And all you want to do is you run it until it starts loading up, meaning that it starts to cover your riffles, and then just start dropping the back end down just a little tiny bit at a time, just so it starts to clear itself. That's all that you want. So that way you're really assuring yourself that you're catching most of the fine gold and you're not blowing anything out. So throw that freaking 1 inch per whatever out the window and just set it up flat, start running your material, and then once it starts to clear, that's where you want to be. But just drop it in little tiny increments until you get that slope that you want, and you'll get all your gold. Nice legs. He's gonna shut it off. Oh yeah, we got all that on film. I hope you enjoyed that as much as we did.
It's a setup, folks. It's a setup.
So guys, we're done, and this little bit of in here represents my wife's rose bushes, which we already pulled out 4 real nice pieces of gold. And actually, I'll show you here. But we have an outing in 2 days, and we have to set up for it tomorrow. So what we're going to do is take this bag of concentrates, and we're just going to head down to Bull Creek tomorrow. We'll pan this out on camera right in at our claimant called the office. But there's the 4 pieces of gold, and I'll show you in close-up here in just a sec. But anyway, I think we paid for new roses for you, hon. So anyway, we're going to take the highbanker and head out there, and we'll pan this out. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Hey, I'm here with my good buddy Brandon, who's probably not even in the picture. But because he is an expert gold panner, we're going to have him pan out these cons from all that material we dug up on my wife's roses. So anyway, we'll get to this, and we'll show you an expert panner, how he does it. And I want you guys to pay close attention to how he does this. So anyway, we'll get to this. We'll show you what we get. Yeah.
So as we get down to the bottom, you can see it's got a lot of dark sands, real heavies, and the gold is going to have a hard time dropping through that material. So you got to take it real slow. Okay, we've got this work down to a manageable size amount. I think we'll just take a peek. So we're just going to give it a little tap, tap, tap. We're going to level it out just a little bit, and then we're going to fan this around. See a lot of lead and junk metals, and obviously a lot of gold too. As I swirl, oh, that didn't work, sorry. Well, that gives you an idea right there.
Okay, hold her still. I'm going to zoom in. This piece of gold here looks like an apple. I think what this was a pendant that I dredged up out of Bull Creek here many years ago. And like I say, guys, this is stuff that when we were dredging a lot back in the late 2000s, we ran it through the spiral wheel and we were losing gold. So like I say, we're not here beating up on the spiral wheel, but it just goes to show you've got to get your equipment set up right. And I probably didn't have it set up right. So anyway, that's not too bad for digging up Lisa's roses. I'm pretty proud of that. But hey guys, if you're sick of the roads being closed and this unbelievable amount of regulation coming down the pike from the government, think about joining us. Go to AmericanMiningRights.com and check us out on Facebook under American Mining Rights. But I wanted to mention something about Brandon here. Not only is he one of my good friends, but he's also a dredge partner. Brandon dredged with me last year up on the South Fork of the Clearwater in Idaho, and he's got a Supreme Court case that's just getting ready to come to trial, and he could really use your help. So what's the website?
peoplevreinhardt.org.
peoplevreinhardt.org, and I think that we'll make sure we get a link on our website as well. But anyway, he could really use the financial support, guys. These attorneys typically cost about $300 an hour, and we're the #1 financial supporter to him. I think that because my wife thinks he's cute or something, I don't know why. Anyway, he could really use the support, guys. So go out to Brandon's website. Even if you only donate $5 or $10, you know, he could really use that. So anyway, that's pretty cool. We're going to shoot another video, I think, today and tomorrow, kind of what happened at the AMRA outings. So you'll get to see that as well. But anyway, I'm Shannon. This is my buddy Brandon. We'll see you next time.